Hey people, it's Wednesday morning, and I hope that you're in for a fantastic day. We're talking about Moses and some of the tests that God put him through in order to build his character and to make him the leader that we all know that he was. Well, there's a remarkable turn of events that takes place in Exodus chapter 32. After the glory of Mount Sinai, where Moses went up, met with God, received the Ten Commandments, he went back down to a devastating scene, back down the mountain. He found the children of Israel worshipping a golden calf. Within days of him leaving, they had turned what they had been such a beautiful thing from an unseen God into something that is just so human. Everybody is wanting a God that they can touch, a God that they can see, a God they can hold, a God that they can measure, a God that they can understand, a God that they can comprehend. And so they did this, and the people said to Aaron, they said, Aaron, Moses doesn't look like he's coming back. Make for us a God. Now, the motive for making the God was not always a bad one, because we said we want a God who we know has brought us out of Egypt. We want to know and make a representation of that God. You see, this is just a representation. They weren't worshiping anything other than a representation of Jehovah. Now, the first commandment that Moses would have put on that tablet of stone is you don't want to do that. You don't want to make an idol. You don't want to make a representation of God. Even though you want to worship God, do not make a representation of Him, because He is Jehovah. He is far beyond any representation that you could possibly make. And we look at the golden calf and we say, well, that was an event in history. It was a tragic one. Many people paid the price for it. When Moses came back, he was angry, and the chain of events was a very sad one. Many people lost their lives and paid the physical price of worshipping the golden calf. But here we sit, thousands of years later, with the same dilemma. There are lots of golden calves out there. And the reason that we worship them sometimes is because maybe we're looking for something that is tangible. Maybe we want to be able to put our hand or our fist or something onto something that we can actually believe that this is of God, and it's not something that sometimes we even make a conscious decision over. But there is one thing that God has never been able to stand, and that is the thing we call idolatry, where we make an idol of something. And we make an idol of many things. There are many golden calves out there. There are as many golden calves out there as there are people out there. There are many temptations to worship these golden calves, and some of them just look so justifiable. Some of them look like, man, this is God giving this to me, and before long we've turned this thing into something that it should never be. Sometimes we make a golden calf or whatever of our families. God wants us to love our families passionately. He wants us to love our wives and our husbands passionately. But if you love your husband or your wife more than you love God, people, you're an idolater. Some people will love their power and the prestige of money. God is nothing against money. But when you love your money more than you love God, you're an idolater. Some people would love their calling. Or some people like me could even love the church more than they love God. And if I do that, I become an idolater as well. And I have a golden calf that is not God. It's a good thing. And not every golden calf is necessarily a bad thing, but it's not a good thing, because its representation of God makes you an idolater. I've said this before, sometimes we look at the Bible. I love that book. That book is just phenomenal. It teaches us so much. It just shows us who God is. It tells us how to get to heaven. It shows us the way of salvation. It's an incredible book that God has given. But there are some people out there that worship the book more than they worship the author of the book. And I love the book, but I love the author more than the book. And so we can so subtly make idols of things that actually some of them are quite good things. Some of them are good things that have just turned bad. But God will not stand for idolatry. He has to be number one. Now, for the people in the story, it was a devastating event. Moses, came down, broke the tablets of stone, and had the people ground up the gold calf and made them drink it, and had a whole lot of them killed. And then he went back up the mountain again. He was an angry, angry man. And God was disappointed, and Moses had to rewrite the 10 Commandments because God was not going to let them get away with. You see, you can smash that piece of stone, you can smash the Lord till you blue in the face, it makes no difference. God will make it again. It is established in stone because it comes out of the very nature and the character of God. Do not make an idol of anything. Worship the Lord your God, and only Him shall you worship. Do not make any graven image to anything of God. And anything that represents God to you needs to go. Needs to go. He will not stand for anything other than you worshiping Him and Him alone. Think about that today. I'll talk some more about it tomorrow. Cheers, guys. Bye.